Hello, Professor Belcher. This is my final presentation on my reflections on theory and practice. I just want to begin to say that this was a very challenging course, not only for time organization, but also in trying to establish my theories and methodology. So let us begin. My first methodology or theory was Bloom's taxonomy, which is, for me, one of the basis of all curriculum and establishing a good organized classroom and curriculum. I use it currently in my own classroom, and our own district also uses it as well. It's obviously the basis. You start off with knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, evaluation, and creation. By using all of these each type of category and process, you're able to create a good, strong curriculum that is easy to understand and sets up your learning outcomes. As I said before, it allows me as an educator to have clear-cut learning objectives and establishing guidelines that will be positive not only for myself but also for my students. It allows them to understand what I'm asking them to do, and this was like how I decided to structure my own class and my own modules. Another methodology that I used was authentic assessment, which is a form in which students are asked to perform real-world tasks to demonstrate their own knowledge of the classroom or of the curriculum. I like authentic assessment, especially in my introduction to marketing and in my current classes. I am a career technical educator, so therefore this authentic assessment is like key and vital to my own class, especially in my module of introduction to marketing, as they have to do a PowerPoint pitch stating how they would ask to pitch their idea and then to get potential investors or sponsors for their program, for their idea. So I think it's really key in the authentic assessment for me to use, because it clearly is part of what my own class I'm teaching. So they take what they've learned in order to be able to be authentic, because that's basically what I'm trying to create. That was a big deal for me, and here in my authentic assessment, I have a short video that is about 2 minutes that explains that.
Hello and welcome to Teachings in Education, Authentic Assessments. So, why should educators use authentic assessments? Essays and class tests don't really relate to the real world. An actual driving test, which is an authentic assessment, is the best way to determine if you're going to be a good driver. Simply passing a written test isn't enough to determine driving ability. Now, how do we incorporate authentic assessments into the classroom? Art class, for example, is based on painting and projects. Art students should be assessed by their artistic talents. The curriculum of many STEM courses today are tailored for authentic assessments. So then, try your best to relate these authentic assessments to real life for students. Give students the opportunity for more lab experiments. Next, higher order thinking skills. Now, writing a column for a school paper requires students to evaluate and dissect information. Authentic assessments such as these challenge students to create and solve problems. So, having students create an anti-bullying commercial would require skills simply beyond recall. You may allow your students' imagination to create their own assessments. Next, they must apply learned knowledge. Overall, we want our students to have successful careers, and all students must one day apply what they learned in school to the work setting. Doctors not only learn anatomy, but they must apply that knowledge to their patients. real life does not occur in multiple choice questions. Real life does not occur in essays. Lastly, rubrics. Rubrics are mostly tied to authentic assessments. Rubric design may vary, whether it be holistic or objective. Authentic assessments are very subjective in nature, so rubrics are needed to set criteria and to set goals for these authentic assessments. Now, right now, I just want to say thank you for your time. Please share, like, and most importantly, please subscribe to the channel.
I feel that this was a helpful video in regarding to authentic assessment, and I think, and in my thought, I believe that authentic assessment for online teaching is crucial, especially when trying to teach everyday and technical career training. So that is why I chose authentic assessment in my own module. The other methodology is the flipped classroom. The flipped classroom model that allows educators to create interactive instruction. This is usually introduced prior to class, and it gives the opportunity for the students to be able to know what they are learning prior to meeting in the classroom or creating discussions online. The flipped classroom is a big deal in online and virtual learning. As you can tell, it's the ability to expose the students to the information before attending class. In my own module, I had students look at templates or worksheets and also videos on how to write a paper or how to create a marketing pitch. This was key. And then, of course, when we did discussion posts, then they are to have read or gained information on the information that I've given them prior to the deadline for the post. So I think that in flipped classroom, it's vital in the virtual and online classes and programs in order for that for students to be successful, as well as educators to learn and to be creative when coming up with information prior to any type of discussion, or even if it's a virtual like hybrid class where you meet maybe once a week. So I think the flipped classroom is very important for that, and very important for the future of online education and educators. My next is methodology and theory is rubrics. I believe that rubrics are very important to any class. I think it allows the students to know what to expect when doing any type of assignment. I think that when you are clear with your students on how to use the rubric or what the expectations are for that assignment, it makes the students have a clearer expectation and clear path on how they're going to create those assignments and be successful in the class. I have rubrics in my own class. We do what we call a senior project for our students, and there are clear-cut rubrics when it comes to that, and also makes it easier for the instructor to be able to assess the students. In my thought, the rubrics are important for the curriculum, and it also makes it easier for the educator to come up with assessments and even curriculum when they begin the process of creating assignments in your classroom. The next one is blogging, which is like one of the most innovative new theories out there, which our own graduate program here with educational technology uses a lot. They're a form of virtual online classes that express ideas. We're allowed to blog in a more formal setting. Students can incorporate a lot of different multimedia and create blogs. There are blog websites out there that allow for students to do that, which is quite helpful. I have a friend myself who does a lot of blogging. I think he did that because of he was having a lot of issues in his personal life, and he began blogging, and I believe that it's created, he's a much better person as far as education is concerned. I think that there is a lot to be said for blogging. I do use blogging in my own classroom with my students because I feel like they enjoy it. It doesn't have to be like an essay where they're being judged by their grammar and by their punctuation. So, I mean, of course, we need to have good punctuation, but with working with high school kids, you find that blogging becomes a little bit more easier, and it helps with their overall writing skills, but it's not so formal, and therefore it's a little easier for them to be more expressive. It also creates a good community. Blogging, you can go in, you can make comments, you can have all these kind of things. For me, my own experience and in my own module, I find that it's helpful. It's like our discussion post. You blog it. Basically, the discussion post is a blog. You go in and then everyone responds to that. So I think blogging is a good example of where education should be going with technology, and how it could be very progressive and very innovative. And I really believe that blogging is something that should be used in the classroom. These are my resources, all 5 of them. And that is my presentation. I want to go ahead and say how appreciative I am of how supportive you've been, Professor Belcher, and I thank you for all of your support and guidance. I hope this is sufficient, and I am looking forward to moving on, and I want to give you a special thanks for giving me your insight and wisdom, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you.